Good evening and welcome to the NROL 186 mission launch webcast. The Falcon 9 rocket carrying tonight's payload is currently awaiting liftoff from Slick 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California, just 8 minutes and 54 seconds from now. Today's mission carries a national security payload designed, built, and operated by the National Reconnaissance Office, or NRO. Tonight's mission marks SpaceX's 362nd overall launch, the 67th launch of 2024, and the 6th NRO launch of a Falcon 9 rocket. This mission continues the NRO's development of cutting-edge capability that delivers critical information that can only be obtained from the vantage point of space. And while it's a bit cloudy at Vandenberg Space Force Base tonight, both the range and vehicle are currently green, and we are on track for an on-time liftoff at 8:14 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, it's also worth noting that we will not be showing any Stage 2 or payload deployment views at the request of the customer. For now, let's meet the vehicle and learn a little bit more about the most flown U.S. launch vehicle ever, our Falcon 9 rocket. Falcon 9 is a two-stage rocket developed and manufactured by SpaceX, known for its safe, reliable, and cost-effective access to space. It's also the first and currently the only orbital-class rocket capable of reflight. Starting at the top of the vehicle is the payload fairing, which is a protective shell that encases the payload or satellite being sent to space. Made of a carbon composite material and having a 17-foot diameter, the space within the payload fairing is able to comfortably contain your average-sized fire truck. That fairing, made up of two halves, will separate and jettison away from the vehicle, exposing the payload once Falcon 9 reaches space. Continuing on down the vehicle, we have the second stage. The second stage is powered by a single Merlin vacuum engine, or MVAC engine, which is optimized to perform in the vacuum of space. After stage separation, the MVAC engine will ignite and carry the payload to its final orbit. The second stage is connected to Falcon 9, to the Falcon 9 first stage via the black inner stage, which houses the MVAC engine and the system that decouples two stages during stage separation. And below that is the first stage, which is powered by 9 Merlin engines. These 9 Merlin engines provide the initial thrust to lift Falcon 9 off the ground through the lower, thicker part of the atmosphere. There are 8 engines arranged around one center engine and are collectively held in place by a structure called the octaweb. Each of these Merlin 1D engines delivers about 190,000 pounds of thrust at sea level, which gives Falcon 9 a combined 1.7 million pounds of thrust. After stage separation, Stage 1, also called the booster, will return to Earth for recovery and reuse on a future mission using a combination of the Merlin sea-level engines and the
Stage 1 fuel load is complete.
And the 4 titanium grid fins located near the top of the booster, which will guide the vehicle during its re-entry and landing. The Falcon 9 first stage is also equipped with 4 landing legs that will deploy just before landing and allow for vertical touchdown of a drone on a drone ship or a landing pad. And for today's mission, we'll be attempting to land this booster on our drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You, which is currently stationed in the Pacific Ocean. Both the weather and the vehicle continue to look good for today's launch out of Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. The Falcon 9 booster supporting today's mission is flying for its 8th time tonight, having previously supported NASA Crew 7, CRS-29, PACE, Transporter 10, EarthCARE, and 2 separate Starlink missions. The payload fairings supporting tonight's mission are also flight-proven, with one half flying for its 13th time and the other flying for its 7th time. Coming up shortly, the Transporter Erector, or TE, will retract away from the Falcon rocket. The TE is that large truss structure you see there next to the vehicle. First, we'll see the clamp arms open around the second...
pressure heading for a strong back retract.
Good call out there. First, we'll see the clamp arms open around the second stage, and then the TE will pull away from the rocket by roughly 77 degrees. And this is set to start in just under 30 seconds from now.
Strong back retract has started.
El viernes 28 de junio a las 8:14 de la tarde hora del Pacífico, Falcon 9 lanzó la misión NROL 186 desde el Complejo de Lanzamiento Espacial 4 Este en la base de la Fuerza Espacial Vandenberg en California. Este es el segundo grupo de satélites para una constelación de reconocimiento. NROL 186 provee aparatos para la constelación construida por SpaceX y Northrop Grumman para la Oficina Nacional de Reconocimiento Estadounidense, o NRO por sus siglas en inglés. Este sistema tiene el fin de proporcionar capacidades de imágenes y otro tipo de reconocimiento. Misiones NROL. Estas misiones son llevadas a cabo por la NRO, una agencia del Departamento de Defensa, DoD, de los Estados Unidos y miembro de la Comunidad de Inteligencia. La NRO desempeña un papel vital en el diseño, construcción y operación de satélites de reconocimiento para el gobierno federal estadounidense.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
And there's that call out that Falcon 9 is in startup. Coming up in just a few moments, we'll hear the launch director, or LD, give the final go for launch.
LD is go for launch.
And there you heard the LD give the final go for today's mission. At T-minus 38 seconds and counting, all systems are go for launch of Falcon 9, so let's sit back and watch as Falcon takes the NROL 186 mission to space.
T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 15 seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. And with that, Falcon 9, go NROL 186.
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
Stage 1 chamber pressure nominal.
At T plus 30 seconds, Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from Slick 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. Coming up next, the vehicle will be passing through Max Q, which is the point in the mission profile where the vehicle will experience the greatest amount of aerodynamic pressure as it ascends.
Power and telemetry nominal.
Good call out there. We should hear that call out for Max Q in about 15 seconds from now.
Vehicle is supersonic. Max Q.
Perfil de vuelo. El cohete se lanza desde California, como indicamos anteriormente. Con el lanzador ya en dirección al plano orbital buscado, las etapas se separan. Aquí, cada subdivisión del cohete perseguirá dos misiones distintas. Primaria, en la que se busca colocar alguna carga en órbita. En resumidas cuentas, es la que da nombre al lanzamiento. Es la segunda etapa la que la realizará. Secundaria, que se relaciona con la recuperación tan característica de SpaceX. Aquí es la primera etapa la que la llevará adelante. Como dijimos, la segunda etapa continúa llevando la carga hacia su punto de despliegue, no sin antes eyectar las cofias. Una vez finalizadas las maniobras para posicionarse correctamente uno o más encendidos, los satélites se sueltan en una órbita inicial. Posteriormente, la segunda etapa realiza maniobras de desorbitado para reingresar a la atmósfera terrestre, destruyéndose.
Main engine cut off.
Stage separation confirmed.
MVAC ignition.
And there you heard those callouts back to back, which again were MECO, stage separation, and SES-1. Coming up shortly, we should hear a callout for fairing separation, but as a reminder, we will not be showing it on screen. Both payload fairing halves supporting tonight's mission are flight proven, with one half flying for its 13th time and the other flying for its 7th time.
Fairing separation confirmed.
And there's that confirmation of fairing separation. We'll be attempting to retrieve both of these fairing halves again today once they fall back to Earth with our recovery vessel Go Beyond, currently stationed in the Pacific Ocean.
Este fue el octavo vuelo del propulsor de primera etapa que respalda esta misión, que anteriormente lanzó las misiones Crew 7, CRS 29, PACE, Transporter 10, EarthCARE y 2 Starlink.